What's good, guys? It's your boy CS back with another one. Another one where I am slightly on the verge of being temporarily bearish here. And I'm just going to go straight into this because, this yellow trend line, I've talked about it from day dot since 2018. It's acted as resistance for Bitcoin and alts. Obviously, support here because they're inversely correlated. But when I say resistance, you know what I mean when I'm talking about Bitcoin and alts. So this yellow line constantly, right, has acted as resistance. We recently broke out of it in November, and I think that was where a lot of us were just gobsmacked that we've broken out of it. And we back tested it numerous times, and then we came back out and then back tested it, and then since then it's just been all hell has broken loose. And so right now we've got a touch off that, and for me, I'm shorting on the whim that we have hit a major resistance zone. Like, this is major resistance zone. This isn't just one where, it can just break through and it melts through 4.98 or 4.85 or 4. This is nothing like that. This is major higher time frame, this yellow trend line. And so I've taken out shorts. I've told the guys in the VIP chat in my private group to take out shorts. We've taken numerous shorts on many things from Peanut, Moodeng, quite a few. And if you see right now, a lot of them are in red. So Peanut in big red, Moodeng, I think I caught this at 0.15 right at the top up here. And yeah, we're shorting basically the ones that have already made their move. That's where we're at temporarily. I want to see if this can actually break this yellow trend line. And if it does it come back into this existing, see these orange trend lines here, right? This one and this one. See how it zigzags across as a descending channel, and we broke out of it. I want to see basically if we can come back in here and we adhere to this channel, which will take us, down to where we want to be. That's what I'm seeing on just the tether dominance chart. When I couple this with the USDC chart, so tether and USDC, if we just look at horizontal resistance, right? Just look at this zone here, 6.52. This has been major resistance. Major resistance. Look how many wicks have bounced off this particular region. And if we look even more in recent times, this bit here is 6.5-ish, right? 6.5%, this maroon line. We've had loads of wicks just bounced off it where we couldn't break it. And we've gone up and down, and then we've come out of it. And again, same thing. Here, wicks. And now we're here. And I'm just a bit skeptical, do we break it all in one go? Because the first week that we had a touch on the 28th of October was just a touch. It was just a wick. It wasn't until the next week, Monday the 4th of November, that we finally broke through it. And I'm thinking this week we just get a bit of relief. We might come back up to 7.04%. Might even put an alert there. Back test it and then come all the way back down. Right? That's what I'm thinking could potentially happen. May not happen, but I'm putting it out there that this could potentially happen, because this is a major resistance zone for the tether and the USDC chart. Though the reason why I'm shorting here is because on the daily, if we look at this orange trend line, we can see that this is a rising wedge, and we basically conform to it. And don't get me wrong, sometimes rising wedges can break to the upside. However, it is a bearish trading pattern, and 8 to 9 times out of 10, this would then fall back. So we're going to see if it can fall back down here, maybe to 101k, and that might correlate to the POC zone, which is at 101 there. So if you look at the two charts, if we look at the two charts, 101 around here will be at the bottom edge of this orange trend line of the rising wedge. And if we go into the POC, the white line is at 101.3. And if we go into this zone, another POC, major POC, 101.083. So I'm looking at 101 as a dip area, or where it can retrace to. That's where I personally think Bitcoin is going to. I think that's where it's going to. And if I look at the EME ribbons, like the daily, we don't even need to look at right now. The 4 hour is down here. We've not even come and looked at that right now. The 1 hour, I feel like we're going to break this 20 EMA. We've been using it quite a bit to our advantage. And I feel like the next stop is the orange one. And then we may see the drop here where the turquoise comes to around 101. That's what my personal sentiment is. I could be totally wrong here. Could be totally wrong. But the risk to reward, just based off the tether dominance, the Bitcoin chart here, this is where I'm at with it. And if I'm looking at the wave patterns on the RSI is roasted. Now, don't get me wrong. This can just flick up and it can go ballistic. It can go higher again. But we see a lot of divergences on the 1 hour now forming. On the 4 hour, we're still roasted. And don't get me wrong, any little flick up, this could go ballistic again. But I feel like it might just cool off just a little bit. It's just a retracement. It's not a reversal. And I don't want people to get this twisted. It's not a reversal. It's a retracement. That's all I'm looking for. Just a little retracement. Nothing at all. And if anything, really, when you look at it zoomed out, it just means Bitcoin is going sideways. That's all. It's just going sideways. Just cooling off for a bit. Take a bit of a short. And see what happens. It's not like I'm playing the long game here. Not at all. I don't care for the long game at this point. This is just hedging my existing positions. That's what I'm looking at personally. Now, moving over to the SPX, and what I was trying to get to was the SPX had a really good week last week where we bumped into that 5709 region. If I look at the EMA ribbons, this was the final defense, the 20 EMA in the weekly for the bears, and they lost it last week. However, this week we tested the 5709 and we still couldn't break it, and we actually ended up under the 20 EMA. Now, the thing that I keep saying to you guys in the VIP chat and why I keep saying look at the SPX is because this red trend line here, we need to stay above. And this week we have stayed above. However, we can't lose 5630 and we can't lose this red trend line. That will spell disaster for us. So we need the SPX to start moving now. And give or take, it's near its all-time high. It's near its all-time high. So we're not too far away. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting if the SPX can move, then the rest of our, altcoins and, Bitcoin will move. Same with the Nikkei. The Nikkei's come out of its, descending channel and it's ready to just go ballistic here. I'm waiting for it to move. It's back tested, you could say, on the weekly, the channel. So it's come and back tested it and it's on its way. It's ready to go to its all-time highs again. The Nikkei's a really good, indicator of a prime mover chart on indices, in my opinion. I've not really looked at total for too long, but we broke out of that channel, that red channel, and, we're not too far away from where I think alts and Bitcoin can go, which is around 5 trillion at a minimum. Total 2 I don't really care about. Total 3 is one of my favourite charts. We bounced off that red trend line and we now are waiting to see if we can go back to that all-time high at 1.005 trillion. That is the previous 2021 high. And so we want to see that get absolutely smashed. Now, the one final thing I wanted to look at is, I gave this before everyone else months ago. And I see a lot of people now on Twitter talk about global M2. Like, I've been using M2 since not even the last mini leg, the leg before that. And I kept saying about Brett, like how M2's rising, the money printers are on. This was back in like 2023 when we had the first lift off. Down here. When we had the first lift off and everything was going ballistic, and then we had the next lift off, the next leg, and there was massive lift off again. And I kept saying like money printers are on, M2's rising. Don't get it twisted though, that sometimes it doesn't always correlate. Okay, And I feel like at this point, a lot of people are relying on M2 where, yeah, M2's flying. It means we're always going to go up. No, don't get it twisted that when M2 kept going up, Bitcoin actually went through a bear market in 2021. So don't rely on it too heavily, please. Rely on it on the basis that, yes, it is a good indicator to let us know that the money printers are on in advance. And remember, there's a lag. However, do not use it as gospel. We use multiple other things to rely on to ultimately tell us where tops and bottoms are. M2 is one of my favorite charts, but I feel like a lot of people are adopting it and talking about it, where in my opinion, I don't like it when other people talk about things like that. I really don't. It really gets under my skin where it's now become public knowledge that everybody's relying on it, and that is a really good time to go against the herd, in my opinion. I hate following the herd. That's just the natural trader that I believe the whales and the big money see. Retail think they're being smart by following M2 global liquidity, and then they get wiped out. That's just the reason why I'm taking a short temporarily. On the spider line chart, we've also broken through that yellow trend line I talked about last week. And now, in my opinion, the next leg where I think we'll go to is around 120, 130K, where the next yellow trend line is. So I think this is very much on the cards by June, July, maybe even before, maybe May or June. Sorry, we're in May, so June or July. So I think this is very much on the cards where we can get to this. And I think, I don't want to call it a cycle top, but it could very well be a cycle top. It could be a cycle top. Like, things are going to move fast. We could get a retrace down next week to, you know, people will be in disbelief that I'm even talking about us coming down to 97K, 98K. Anything is possible in crypto. Anything is possible. Anything can be done, especially when sentiment is at greed as well now. I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm saying that don't write things off that just because things have blasted off, that the chart is always going to go up, up, up. Yes, I've been a Bitcoin bull maxi all the way down here from like 15K. You got to remember that I've been talking about it from from literally the bottom and looking at their MVR Z score as well. There's a lot of factors that can tell us that, yes, we could have a massive leg like that. And I do think that's going to happen because of the parabolic chart that I've always maintained, which is here. And I feel like, you know, let's say the last leg is about here, 5. Let's just call it there, 5. I'll put an X as X marks the spot. So that's potentially where the Bitcoin high is. And you know what? I'll even put an alert there and an alert there. Like, if it gets out there, that's good for me. That means that we're near the Bitcoin top, in my opinion. Okay, guys, that's basically a quick whistle-stop tour. Yeah, I am in shorts here, like I've just said. A lot of us guys are in shorts. Some people have been taking some great shorts, like Adam took a Moo short. He cheated out, unfortunately, but Moo was at like 25%, 30% on the day. Now retraced down to 3%. Peanut, still pretty much down. Shorting Nero, shorting Pepe. I'm basically hedging my bets. Solana too. Hosico, Housecoin, quite a few others as well. We're looking at just shorting a few Fartcoin as well, and we'll see where we go. Remember, the tether dominance is key. That's all I'm looking at. I'm seeing if we can get a bit of relief here. Doesn't mean I'm bearish or shortish. I just feel like there might be some relief here just because this is a major resistance zone. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.